Hi, my name is Haider, and on behalf of my co-authors, I will be presenting the development and validation of miniPXI, an 11-item measure of the player experience inventory. Questionnaires are one of the most important tools available for assessing player experience in game user research. Considering the multidimensionality of player experience, questionnaires are comprised of many items. PXI contains 33 items. Likewise, PENS is comprised of 21 items, IEQ is comprised of 31 items, and UPEC is comprised of 21 items. This high number of items is necessary to evaluate the complex, elusive construct of player experience. They ensure a reliable and valid measurement. However, there are situations where this high number of items can become an issue. In time-constrained situations such as evaluating a game at an exhibition, this may not be feasible as this takes too much time. Moreover, in situations of serious games where player experience is only one of the several aspects assessed, again it may not be feasible to use lengthy questionnaires. In our research, we worked on developing an 11-item variant of the player experience inventory. The current PXI is composed of two subscales. One subscale measures at the level of functional consequences, that is, the immediate tangible consequences with 5 constructs, and other at the level of psychosocial consequences, that is, the emotional experiences again with 5 constructs. Additionally, game enjoyment can be added as a higher order umbrella construct totaling 11 constructs. As each construct is measured with 3 items, this totals 33 items. The miniPXI has been developed and validated in 3 studies. In first study, single item selections were made based on the interviews with experts, legibility analysis, and a quantitative assessment of the single item reliability. In the second study, a reliability and validity analysis was carried out based on delayed recall of a game experience. Finally, in the third study, the validity and sensitivity was verified again, but this time for an active game experience. Single item selection was performed in 3 parts. In part 1, selections of single item per construct were made on 33 items PXI based on survey data of 366 participants. Reliability scores using 3 different approaches were calculated for each item. Average reliability score of the final selected item was 0.63. In part 2, 15 experts ranked the item per construct from most preferred to least preferred, followed by the reason for their first choice. In part 3, to ensure legibility of selected items, Flesch-Kincaid readability scores were calculated. Combining the information from the 3 parts, a final selection was made of the single items based on expert rankings first, next verifying the reliability scores, and finally verifying the legibility scores. The aim of the second study was to verify the reliability and validity of the single items selected in Study 1 via a procedure akin to test-retest procedure, in which participants were asked to rate a memorable player experience twice over the course of 1 week. For validity analysis, items from conceptually related constructs of pens and attractive scales were also included in the second study. 244 responses after data cleaning and screening were used for the analysis. From the first response, full PXI showed moderate to high internal consistencies. For mini PXI, bivariate correlation analysis with full PXI construct, all constructs correlated over 0.5. Only the construct of ease of control scored less than 0.5. For validity, concurrent validity analysis with conceptually related constructs from PENS and attractive 2 was performed. For the construct of autonomy, ease of control, immersion, curiosity, and mastery, significant high correlation scores were observed. Moderate significant correlations were observed with the constructs of challenge, audiovisual appeal, and meaning. However, this was not the case for the constructs of clarity of goals and progress feedback. The goal of this last study was to verify the validity of 11-item PXI for an active game experience, and additionally in exploratory manner to assess the sensitivity of single items. The overall study was designed as within a subject repeated measures experiment. 30 participants played 2 games, counterbalanced for minimum 6 minutes, followed by filling in the mini PXI and items from pens and attractive 2 after each gameplay. 2 games, Red-Handed and Evolent, were selected based on the input from 4 experts, who rated each game on each of the PXI constructs on a scale from 1 to 5. Ranking scores of 4 experts were then averaged for each game and per construct. The difference between the rankings then served as a heuristic for sensitivity analysis. Based on the concurrent validity analysis, correlation scores were found significant for all constructs, again except for clarity of goals and the progress feedback. For sensitivity analysis, paired sample t-test was performed. Based on the expert heuristics, significant difference were observed in paired sample t-test as well, confirming the sensitivity of miniPXI. Summarizing the findings from miniPXI, in terms of reliability, satisfactory average reliability score is achieved, which is 0.68, which is in line with the recommended score. However, the score for the constructs of progress feedback, clarity of goals, ease of control, immersion, and mastery are between 0.5 and 0.6, which is lower than what is recommended. Looking into the findings from validity analysis, all constructs except progress feedback and clarity of goal showed positive associations with the conceptually related constructs from PENS and attractive 2. Lastly, the sensitivity analysis confirms the sensitivity of miniPXI, as highly ranked constructs by expert were also flagged by miniPXI. Reflecting on the low reliability scores observed, there could be various contributing factors as discussed in the paper. One possible reason behind the low reliability scores could simply be the multidimensionality of the constructs like immersion and mastery. These may represent multidimensional constructs in and of themselves that do not lend themselves well to single item measurement. However, from the study it also became apparent that player experience itself may not be a stable construct over time. Even the reliability with the same item over the time was low. We point to the paper for further explanations. Based on the findings, miniPXI should be applied carefully. For example, in situation where you have to evaluate a single game over the time. Another case is where the miniPXI is accompanied by other instruments, or in a time-constrained situation where the purpose is to get a quick and basic measurement of player experience. And lastly, it should only be applied in situations of immediate recall, that is active game experience. In conclusion, there is a trade-off between using multi-item and single-item scale. In situations where high reliability and validity is required and delayed recall-based experience needed to be evaluated, use of multi-item is recommended, but time to fill and participant interest might be compromised. In contrast, in situations where quick response, less respondent frustration, high face validity, and evaluation of the immediate recall of an active game experience is concerned, a single item per construct measure can be applied. For further details, please read our paper and reach out if you have any questions. Thank you for watching this presentation.